お、始まるかな。始まるからやめましょう。
Alright, so we're all set to go then? Alright. So it looks like Star Tropics 2 won. I was fine with both games, but this is the one I preferred to play, so I'm pretty happy.
You're
は
welcome.
い。
Thank you. But I guess we're ready with timer and everything?
はい、じゃあ、
Okay. And we'll start in 3.
スタートロピックス、
1.
ゾーダズリベンジ。スタートロピックス2かな。多分
Alright, so the first chapter, Star Tropics 2 here, is actually going to be all text. I'm not going to actually do much other than buffer these inputs here. In both Star Tropics games, you can buffer. In this case here, I just have to hold A at every single text box, and it'll advance to the next one automatically on the first frame possible. And so that's all I'm doing for this first chapter is I'm just advancing text.
スタートロピックス2ですね。
I gotta go ask my uncle, who is a archaeologist.
はい。
Named Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Yes, we are
全く知らないので解説もないので一文で初めて見る。
in any way related to Indiana Jones, but we don't know, but it's a distinct possibility.
So the magic words right here are actually some lyrics to a song by the Rivingtons of the same name. It's an interesting song, to say the least. All right.
So it's also worth noting that both Star Tropics and Star Tropics 2 were never released in Japan, despite being first-party Nintendo games.
That's correct.
They were developed exclusively for the American audience, and while Star Tropics 1 was released for Europe, Star Tropics 2 didn't come to Europe until the VC release about 10 years ago.
日本では一切
Yeah,
出
you
て
might
な
say
い
this
そう
is
で
one of
す。
the earliest versions of a Western RPG in that case.
Right. So here, DarkTerrex is going to be moving in a specific pattern because in that little snowfield there are
エニーパーな
pitfalls
の
that
で
lead to
バ
little
グ
mini
がある
dungeons
んじゃ
that
な
are
いで
just
す
going
か
to
ね
waste a。bunch of time, so we want to avoid them.
Some of these NPCs in here will move around randomly.
黙る場合は私。
Usually they have a set pattern, but every once in a while they'll throw me off and I'll lose a little bit of time because I run into them, so I just gotta go and hope that they move how I want them to. Cavemen say thank you, so that's nice. They don't
Okay.
need money.
They don't even know what money is.
Yeah. I got a free axe out of it.
And you didn't even have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's great.
This game was developed by the Punch-Out team as well, right?
That is correct.
I did not know. That's pretty cool.
I was not aware of that either.
So they actually moved on to making a lot of the hardware and stuff as well later on, but this was one of their earlier projects.
Alright, so here's the first dungeon. Pretty straightforward for the first couple of dungeons, but
Well, there's going to be one trick, or are you going to do that?
I will be, yes. Wow.
Yeah, Star Tropics isn't really trick heavy. A lot of it's just execution, but each of the games has a couple of tricks that you can do scattered out throughout them. And there's one coming up that Terrex is going to do that's kind of just been a recent addition to the route. And so
It's getting trolled a little bit by enemy placement. So normally it'd go around these rooms.
Got it. Okay, so that's what's called the Void Walk. Is I jumped and then landed on the seam damage on that frame, and that basically tricked the game into thinking that I was still standing on land while I was on the water, so I was able to jump across when I wasn't supposed to be able to, and that saves like 12.5 seconds.
Seems like it would save more than that.
It's like 4 rooms worth.
How difficult is that trick to get consistently?
That there is 100% consistent, because you pause buffer it. So it's not hard.
And the enemies always cooperate to make sure you get that?
Yeah.
yep, and he'll do it one more time in the run, and it's
It-
kind of fitting where it ended up happening.
Exactly, yeah. So this is the shape labyrinth. There's a pattern on the wall in the caveman room that in a part of the dungeon that we don't, or in the part of the caveman cave that we don't go to. Circle, circle, triangle is the pattern. So it's
I
just...
don't even know that. I just know which direction I have to go.
But this is almost the end of the Chapter 2 dungeon. We'll be fighting the first boss, Yum Yum. And we're gonna fight easy mode Yum Yum. We're not gonna fight hard mode.
Yeah, so yeah, Terrex can has a specific pattern to throw in the axes, and Yum Yum's just going to sit here and chow down on a boar and never do anything.
That you don't, when firing these projectiles, you do not want to mash. There's a timing to it. If you mash too fast, it starts just eating your input. So you need to make sure you wait long enough for the game to be ready to register another input. So in Star Tropics 2, the idea of the plot is Mika, who we rescued in Star Tropics 1, got a cryptic message from her father, Hyricon, the leader of the Argonian aliens. Something collect blocks or tetrads.
Yeah. So we got Shorty here. Nice little other Indiana Jones reference.
So I tried to actually do a frame perfect trick that was there. There's no risk into actually like going for it. Basically, if I hit select as I go onto that tile to where they're supposed to talk to me at, if I hit it on a specific frame, it'll advance the text sooner and it'll say like 2 seconds, but I don't really have like a visual cue for that or anything. So I just kind of hope that I get it. I unfortunately did not, but that's all right. It's not a big time loss. So we've been traveling through time and space we will be to multiple areas, and Mika keeps trying to track us down, and I'm trying to find all these tetrads by doing that.
Oh my gosh, it's a block. Actually, it's a tetrad, but in the Virtual Console release, they changed it from tetrad to block because apparently copyright issues with Tetris. In Star Tropics 1, they changed Yo-Yo to Island Star. Virtual Console release, Yo-Yo was still trademarked in Canada. As far as I understand, the trademark in Canada has since died, but it was still Island Star in the Wii U VC release, even though it was dead.
Just a holdover from that, then.
Yeah, exactly.
We have time for a quick donation.
Yeah, go for it.
We have $30 from Ice Plug saying, "I am crunk for the chicken nugget. Munch, munch. Go Terrex. Please put towards runner's choice."
Oh, geez, I've got to find out a runner's choice. I'll figure that out afterwards, I guess. Iceplug donated for the chicken nugget. That means I might have to actually...
I kept saying that we should have had food percent as a donation because there's a chicken nugget you can get in this game and there's a big apple you can get in Star Tropics 1. So either way, food percent would have been a valid donation incentive.
Yeah.
I was actually considering doing like a flash incentive for it, but Iceplug beat me to it. All right, so in every single chapter in the overworld sections, I have to talk to specific people to essentially progress. I don't have to talk to everybody, just the certain ones that count towards the trigger. But right now I got sent to Egypt. I just talked to Cleopatra, and she's angry because she ordered pizza 3 days ago from Rome and hasn't received it yet, so she's very hungry. So I need to go and get that for her now.
I like how in the text box while you were talking to her, it actually showed the letters blah, blah, blah. It's very fitting for a speedrun, I feel.
The dialogue in these games is fantastic. Super cheesy. Brosentia would love these games with all the puns.
Don't worry, I'm quite enjoying them.
We all.
So this Cyclops here is just a reskin bear.
Yeah, it's the exact same to go with the axe. He could have gone and got the dagger before this dungeon. There's a hidden path where you can go pick up a dagger. If he doesn't get it before this dungeon, Cleopatra will give him the dagger at the end of the dungeon after the cutscene leading past this dungeon. So okay, he will still have it for the second dungeon in this chapter. I think it's 5 or 6 hits if you have the dagger to kill those guys.
It takes 6. We counted, did some numbering on it, trying to make sure if the dagger was or was not faster. But because of how far out of the way it is, it actually is slower to go and get it ahead of time by like a couple of seconds. All right, good luck from this hedgehog. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this jump here. I'll explain it afterwards. I missed it. All right. So I won't go for it again, but what I basically do there is I jump, and if there's a pillar like that was there, I can actually press up on it, and it'll push me forward a pixel.
normally you're not supposed to be able to jump 2 square tiles like that, but it gives, if done correctly, it gives him just enough extra forward momentum that he can.
That I can make that jump there, yeah.
Couple of differences between Star Tropics 1 and.
What? Okay, that's good.
I'll be
Do it again.
I'll be quiet in this.
That's fine.
That's the part where I'm supposed to say that.
Right.
That actually is because I haven't gone this other direction. Actually, I always do the jump. So I'm gonna play this super careful. Okay.
And we're through.
Now, if I'm higher up on a platform, I can make a jump like that. Ooh, that is really not good. Okay, I'm just gonna be quiet.
And the Star Tropics staple, whenever you attack and when you're in low health, it makes the beep happen again.
Yeah, they made sure to make low health even more annoying than it was in like Zelda 1. As though if you didn't think it was possible, well, now you do.
So I'm glad Nintendo stuck to their guns with one heart in a game that has it, giving you that lovely beeping sound.
Yeah. All right, so I played that extremely carefully because if I died again, I would have game overed. So
Yeah, if you die, you get 3 lives. There are certain rooms are checkpoints, so if you die, you get respawned at those rooms. But if you get a game over, you have to start the entire dungeon from the beginning. So it's more painful if you get a game over than if you just lose life. So
all right, so here I am trying to go get this pizza for Cleopatra, but walking is really slow. So I got this camel that I rented.
and we're riding and riding and riding and riding and riding.
Shout out to Koopa Troopa.
It's kind of like Star Tropics 1 where you run, hurry, hurry.
Run,
Oh,
hurry, hurry.
I'll get that too.
So this was one of the last games to come out for the NES, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
so
I
what
believe
year-
there's one Wario game that came out a year later. And then there's like a couple of unlicensed games like Sunday Fun Day that came out in '90. Talking about the N64, it was in its prototype stages when this game came out.
Yeah, this was the second to last game released officially on the NES. The last game was Warriors Woods. All right, so we gave Cleopatra her pizza.
Yeah, legit.
Now we gotta watch her eat it.
Yeah, it's
Chomp, chomp, chew, chew.
Caesar's Hut. It's beautiful.
Caesar's Hut, yeah. Shout outs to Little Caesars. Pizza.
This is in no way sponsored.
The stream is not sponsored by Caesar's Hut.
So we're going to head to the pyramid where the second Tetrad is located, except not really. We can't actually get into the pyramid. We can just get into the first room, and then we're blocked by a mysterious force field that is going to impede our progress. So we've got to go take a detour up to the north and find a talking monkey.
Indeed. All right, so she just ditches us here.
And she's just like, here you go.
Can't believe it. So I walk far enough out into the desert there, just so that I can quickly get up into this spot. If I keep continuously walk over to the left there, it actually is endless. And so like I only have like a couple of spots that I can do that in. So here I have this hedge maze that I have to go through.
Normally, if you would stand on if you go walk up top of the ledges, it'll show you what's visible and what's invisible, or what you can walk through and what are actually solid hedges. But
Sorry for the help.
that's really slow to keep going up there. So so he's memorized more or less where the safe spots are, where he can walk and where he can't. Also, if done correctly, this is the only part of the game where enemies can actually drop stars and hearts. The work is that the more times you've died over the course of a particular dungeon, the more likely enemies are to drop stars and hearts. In every dungeon, every part of Star Tropics 2 except for this dungeon here, the drop rates all start at 0. In this one particular area, it starts at a positive drop rate. So hopefully we won't be seeing many more enemy drops.
Yep, and so this has some unavoidable pitfalls that Terrex is hitting and dropping us into mini dungeons. You'll see a couple of those throughout the course of the run where the game's just like, hey, you get to fall down a pit and waste time. And so we just kind of deal with it.
I'll make the beeping stop here in a sec.
Beep percent is the true percent.
I don't know. I'm starting to get used to it.
So one other thing of note is that he wants to end every chapter with as close to full health as possible, because there will be a slow health refill at the rate of about 1 heart every 1 to 1.1 seconds. It's really slow and obnoxious, so if he has a chance, if he has a potion or can get a cluster of hearts that's less than 4 seconds out of the way, it's generally going to be worth it, assuming that he's not already at full health.
Sometimes I'll get a potion in the middle of the stage, and that'll be faster to refill it within that than if I wait for it at the end of the game, because it refills faster. However, only like if I'm missing a full potion's worth of health, otherwise it'll be faster to wait for it. Because it takes time to pause the game for it.
This music is jamming.
Yeah.
Man, it's great.
It's very radical.
This game is very 90s, so if you go through the dialogue, it's fantastic. Alright, so we finally caught up with the monkey.
Oh
He's
my
been
gosh.
expecting me,
Oh my
I'll
gosh!
be a monkey's uncle.
I will also be a monkey's uncle.
and he just gave me psychic powers, so, you know, that's normal.
This is a part where I'll go ahead and mention that as other than the obvious, you're no longer locked on a grid-like movement. There are a couple of other differences concerning how you die. Star Tropics 1 was very painful in how you die, because your primary weapon, you could only use the upgraded forms of your primary weapon if you had enough hearts. You needed 6 hearts to use the shooting star, and a full row, which is 11 hearts, to use the
What is the snake doing?
it's trolling you.
Apparently.
Don't step on snack.
Yeah.
In this game, your primary physical weapon you can use regardless of health, but you need enough hearts to use your shockwave. So right now he's got the level 1 shockwave, which he can use regardless of his health. Later on he'll get upgraded forms. He'll get the super and then the ultras psychic shockwave, which require 5 and then 10 hearts to use.
Alright, so now I'm in a pyramid. You know, it's fitting that we have mummies, but we also have mummy children, so take that how you will, I guess.
So how does the enemy movement in this game work? Is it relatively consistent and predetermined?
Spawn to almost everything in this game. Almost nothing is set. Versus the first game, which a lot of it is set. I can manipulate some of them. Oftentimes, if you get in their line of sight, they'll head towards you. Or do something like the snake, he just kind of moves around faster. Sometimes they'll like move towards you, but still otherwise they'll... It's not like I can guarantee what they will do.
It's also worth noting that different enemies have different strengths and weaknesses to different weapons. In Star Tropics 1, everything just had a certain amount of HP, and various weapons just had a certain damage multiplier associated with them. So the yo-yo had power 1, the shooting star was power 2, supernova power 3, and then the different different sub weapons have different power levels. In this game, there are different weaknesses and strengths. So some enemies are completely immune to physical attacks. Some are immune to the shockwave. And so depending on what exactly he's fighting is going to determine what weapon is.
Okay.
I'll shut up since he's at half heart.
I made it stop.
For now.
For now.
Does the beeping still make you nervous after however long you've been playing this game, or is it?
Depends on the dungeon and where I'm at in said
Oh
dungeon.
my gosh, the panels look like a snake. I wonder if that's indicative of something.
Yeah, is that relevant? We don't know. Shoutouts to the mustached mummies here.
Heck yeah. So this game and the first game get kind of clever with how they make you do some puzzles. Dang it. In this case, I'm going to go here and hopefully grab this flute. Okay, I'm going to kill this thing anyway, just in case. Waste time because of the door open, but that's okay. Better than I'm alive.
So we're gonna go back to this room where the snake tiles are, and you'll never guess what's gonna come out. And play the flute. Okay, maybe you did.
And they're not want to cooperate, are they?
No.
Nope.
That was not a very good pattern for
Enemies
them.
are trolling. Are you gonna grab the potion here?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not,
Oh.
apparently. I thought I had enough room there. All right. Well, now I have more health, but the checkpoint is like right there, so I'm not that far behind from it.
Alright, this should be the boss room. Oh my gosh, what?
Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. This is a really bad pattern. I'm surprised that hit me, given that I didn't get hit by the first one. Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe you have to give me a better pattern. The dagger does more damage than the base shockwave. That's a lot better.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, he does have
There
to.
we go.
He does have to switch to the shockwave whenever, because it has slightly more range, so it can hit the pharaoh when it's on the back row.
Wow, you've done it. The games are very encouraging. Both of them do that. After every single dungeon, you have done it. Alright, so we got our second tetrad now.
So what happens if you make a line with all the tetrads?
It does nothing, apparently.
All right. We have time for a couple quick donations.
Yeah, please go for
We
it.
have an anonymous $100 donation with no comment, but thank you very much. We also have an anonymous $5 donation that says, the power is out at work, so I can't really do anything. Surprisingly, though, the Wi-Fi is part of the emergency power for the building. So I'm going to sit here until my phone dies or my boss tells me I can leave watching RPG Limit Break 2017. Thanks for the entertainment and for a great cause.
That's the way to do it.
Glad you're enjoying.
Also do want to remind you guys that after this, we do have Saga Frontier. Right now, Estellas is in the lead with $230 over Amelia's $130, but you can make the difference if you want. Head over to RPGLimitBreak.com, click the donate button, and just choose which one of those you'd rather see. So, and then back to you, Terex.
All right, so now we're in London, and note we're going through time and space, so we're going to go see Sherlock Holmes now. And he's going to point us to the direction of the next stone.
So is this Robert Downey Jr. version or British television version?
That is a good question.
That definitely doesn't look like RDJ.
Well, now we're gonna get thrown in jail.
Shoutouts to the dog. I can't talk to the dog because that's slow.
I think it's fitting that I'm on the couch for this, given that you get thrown in jail at least twice in Paper Mario. You get thrown in jail one more time.
There's another dog.
So speaking of us on the couch, maybe we should roll call this thing
Oh,
here.
yeah, I guess we did.
So you got DarkTerrex running the game here. I'm Velociraptor 42.
On Drifting Skies.
So yeah, I basically talked to the policeman asking where the museum was. You know, I'm just an innocent guy. Where's the museum at? But it's late outside, and that's suspicious. So I got thrown in jail instantly for that. But good thing that their jail has like no wall on one part of it. So
Very effective jail.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you talk to the talk to one of the inmates there, he's like, you can't possibly get out. This jail is it's bulletproof.
Except for this wall over here.
But suddenly,
Zoda.
that alien scum.
You will never survive the power of the mighty Zoda X. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Down. Okay, I held down. I always hold up because I think it puts me in the dungeon. Alright, so now we're in the sewers. So this moving platform here, I actually have to be very careful on. Because unlike regular platforms or anywhere else, I can actually just straight up walk off of this thing and then straight up die in the water. So I have to be very careful to not do that.
So with a precise jump, he can that skips about 4 or 5 rooms, and it's probably 45 seconds.
So basically what happened there is what I tried to do in Chapter 2 and then failed with that pillar. Same concept. I go up and I use the corner of where I'm jumping to push me forward 1 pixel. And that puts me just where I need to be to make that jump and skip most of this dungeon. That's fine. That was clean.
That was really good.
Ow. Ow.
Al, what are you doing?
Ow. Okay, thank you.
And now we're gonna fight the boss that doesn't do anything.
Alright, I need to concentrate a bit on this one.
Yep.
That was close.
Wow.
That was
nice.
really close because I missed that last shot and I had to shoot it in the air at him because I would have instantly died had I touched it. Okay. That's actually one of my most nervous bosses just because you have to do 5 hits and then get off the platform before it disappears.
And that's really tight timing, too.
Yeah.
Would that technically have been optimal to actually just jump towards them as you threw the last one, or even if it is kind of scary to do so?
Technically, yeah.
Cool, so you're just intentionally showing off these optimal strats.
Yeah, exactly.
So this weapon, which I is actually really powerful. It has quite a high damage multiplier compared with his base weapons. I think those mice are 6 or 7 hits with the dagger, but they only take 4 hits from the chakram.
You step on those, it just pushes you in that direction, but you can still act and move and everything with
That
no
is
issues?
correct.
Okay.
Which is why I had to jump right there to actually make it across that one quickly. Otherwise, I can walk across that, but it would just be very slow.
It's kind of like an It's kind of like an
Conveyor.
escalator conveyor.
Those things at the airport that you step on that just push you
Yes.
forward, and
Yep.
Yeah,
you feel
exactly.
really weird when you step off of them because you're not going fast anymore.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, that's the last of those, which is fine. This guy will take 3 hits now instead of the 2. Sure, why not? I'll grab this. So that sign there gives me extra lives.
Well, it can give you extra lives.
It will actually. Contrary to the first game has a chance of giving you negative lives when you pick one of those up, but they actually took that out in this game because I guess people didn't like that.
Wait, what?
People didn't like losing lives arbitrarily?
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah, in the first game, it could give you +2 lives, +1 life, or it could take a life away.
Yep.
And it's totally random which one it does.
Yep. But this game, yeah, it gives you either 1 or 2 lives.
And this room is entirely cycle based, so it does not take him does not cost him any time to get the chakram. Since he would have to wait for the cycle anyway. Now he's gonna fight Zoda X, and I'll give him some quiet for this.
Hopefully I get the good pattern. No, okay. Well, he gave me the best spawn. There's 2 attacks that he can do. He can do that one or this fire attack, and the fire one he stays out for much longer for.
There it is.
Please. I'm missing him because of the arrows. Okay, there he is. If he had done the fire attack down at the bottom flame wouldn't actually spawn because it would spawn off screen. Left would have spawned like inside of him. And it actually is far enough in that I can still hit him. The fire blocks all of your attacks otherwise. But if he spawns like that and does that attack, I can one-cycle him, but yeah, tough luck sometimes.
You got a crystal star! Wait, still not the right game.
You got the MacGuffin.
Slow health refill I mentioned in Chapter 3.
Yeah, I had pretty good health going out of that fight, though, so it wasn't too much of a loss there. And then it's always going to have a couple of hearts that it's going to refill. Actually, and you can actually get those hearts early on in the level. They're in the overworld sections, but it's slow to go and get them. And if you just finish the level, it gives it to you anyway, so there's no point in actually going to get them. All right. We're going through time and space again to the Wild West. Now, Iceplug donated for me to get the chicken nugget, so I guess I'll go get the chicken nugget.
Do you know where the chicken nugget is?
Alright, so I gotta go into this mining town. I gotta go tell another story, my blah 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 story.
Blah 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 seeking tetrads. Blah
Exactly.
blah blah.
In this case, Tet Tot Rad. He moved, dang, that's bad luck.
Blah, blah, blah. Time traveling. Nobody thinks it's weird.
Yeah.
Not at all.
They're just like, oh, okay. Cool.
The laws of causality are weeping silently.
Alright, so I'm gonna go to Bob's store. Very creative name. And he's gonna give me some free dynamite. I'm junior in high school, by the way, so, you know, this is safe.
Very responsible of him.
Yeah,
making
exactly.
I know. I love how it says it gives you dynamite, but all the boxes say TNT on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are not the same. If you're not familiar, those are actually not the same thing.
Alright, so I'll go get the chicken nugget.
They are both fun to play with, though.
I mean, let's be fair. I mean, Mike probably plays with worse stuff in chemistry class than dynamite.
Dynamite.
Alright.
The chicken nugget.
You try it. It's delicious.
But nothing
But-
happens. Just like the
just like the Big Apple.
Yep.
Alright, now I gotta go get more dynamite. But that was worth $30 to me.
I'm not sure I would ever try a random chicken nugget that I found in a cave after.
Wouldn't
porn.
you?
I mean, either that or you like found the hidden Wendy's inside of the.
And when Bob says he'll buy the gold, you will actually increase your points by I think 1,000 if you give a golden nugget to him.
Alright, so the hint that they give you as to where you're supposed to go for this is you're supposed to do this dance around a cactus that's over there. One of the arms is facing the other direction. And you go talk to a guy who's playing a piano in the town, and he's like, oh, here, do you want to hear my greatest hit? And
The cactus dance.
The cactus dance. So you go learn the dance, and that's where you're supposed to be able to figure out how to, or what spot the dungeon's at.
Or you just can go there because you know where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. I jumped there just to make sure that he didn't fire at me, and I took it. And, you know, I may have taken a hit from that otherwise. Alright, so I just need to open up this wall. Running towards boulders, because that's sensible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So something I've noticed is you walk diagonally a lot. Is it actually the same speed to walk diagonally as it is to walk in a single direction?
Yes, actually. So I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to walk vertically or horizontally to get the fastest speed. It will go the same speed no matter what direction I'm facing. So I can just walk diagonally even against a wall and be totally fine. Sorry, these enemies are really bad to deal with. So.
Oh, what
sorry.
a jerk.
Yeah.
So this is a boss. It's a minor Cyclops something or other.
Off the wall and then slings them at you on the ground.
Yeah. So you can actually skip this boss with a Void Walk by jumping on the seam and taking damage from the boulder. If you touch him, you will die. There is a setup that was found. The setups for these Void Walks are found by Falco, another Star Tropics 1 and 2 runner, so shoutouts to him. He found a setup for it, but the setup that goes with that one has like 4 frame perfect pauses, and you have to take a damage boost from the previous screen, so you have to have enough health to take that damage boost and the damage boost to do the Void Walk with, and that dungeon is not easy to do that with. So it's not really something I'm going to go for.
Now we got a talking donkey.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we got a talking donkey now. Who just disappeared on us.
donkey if you prefer. If you prefer otherwise, you can fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the more powerful Super Shockwave, which, as I mentioned before, requires 5 hearts. So if he at any time falls below 5 hearts, he will revert back to the regular puny Shockwave.
And for some reason, they decided to code it that now at this point in the game, when I have only 5 hearts, I get the beeping sound instead of 3 hearts. So
It was 2 hearts for a while.
or 2 hearts, yeah, but okay, that's fine.
I guess they were just really proud of that beep. And they
Yeah.
just wanted you to hear it more often.
And this is exactly what I think of the beep.
Yeah.
Right there.
So I'm gonna hit this
Chilling with his Moogle.
with the dagger to open up the coins. If I hit them with the side shock, the chest will never open.
Which I think is kind of what's the intended way.
Mhm. Normally I wouldn't get this, but this is the scariest dungeon in this game due to the mini boss and the boss. Normally I wouldn't get it if I already have one, but I am not going to take any chances, especially given how the beginning of the run started.
And this is an invincibility star. Will you be using it on the boss or the mini boss?
I'll be doing it on the boss.
Okay.
I did finally swap. I actually used it on the mini boss for the long time, and everybody thought I was nuts. But the mini boss is something else.
This is a couple of very ugly fights.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Go away.
And they are all up in your grill.
It's almost dead. Got him. Okay.
That really wasn't that bad as far as how bad that boss can troll.
Yeah. So as you saw, the boss can spawn from any of the 4 spots, and it's all random. I have no pattern to it whatsoever. If I kill one of the golden childs, it'll spawn another one, and they like to get in your way a lot. So, and given that this game doesn't have like any iframes, which is another difference between the oh wow, they both came that way. Another difference between the 2 games. The first game has a good chunk of iframes when you take a hit. This one doesn't. So like, if I take 1 hit, I either get off that enemy or I die.
Yeah. In the last 2 chapters of Star Tropics 1, you get you're searching for the 3 magic cubes. The first one gives you the supernova. The second one gives you max health. And I've always liked to joke that the last one gives Mike the ability to swim for about 5 seconds at the cost of all of his iframes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
That was a really good minor.
Yeah, that boss has very low health, but because the boulders that he spawns are completely random, but once they get like close to you, they tend to move towards you. It makes it very tricky because they will also block your shots that are on the ground. And then after that, the miner will start kicking around in random directions, and if he does that, like, you can die very quickly on that fight. So that's why we get the invincibility star for that. All right.
Congratulations on getting the fourth Tetrad rad.
Yeah, thanks. My life level increased because of it.
That was pretty tetradical.
That's an A.
And y'all aren't done with me today either.
Say the magic.
What?
I said, and they aren't done with me today either.
This is radical. I tend to tap on my controller a lot, so don't mind me. All right, we've got 3 chapters left in the game.
Well, this one plus 3 more.
Well,
6, 7, 8, 9.
yeah, you're right. I can math.
Math is good.
So now we're in Italy.
We're going to hang out with Leonardo da Vinci here.
That is true. All right, will this guy on the bridge troll me? No, he didn't. Yeah, let's go. All right, so I saved 1 extra tile that I had to walk.
Save that half second.
2 tiles. You would have had to step
that's
up
true.
and back down.
No, that's true. That is very true. 2 tiles.
Save that half second.
It's a speedrun, that's what it's all about.
All right, so there's this guy stuck in there. I mean, I don't know who it is. But we're going to go into his basement and raid it. I mean, trying to figure out what's wrong in here.
I like the Zoda footprints. That's
Yeah.
always the cool little touch.
I thought we killed Zoda.
All right, so for some reason, they give you the katana, which is the next weapon that I'll get.
But
I don't have that yet, but it's only in that room. I have the dagger again. Who knows why they did that, but that room, you have a katana, and it does absolutely nothing for you.
I like throwing my katanas as well. That's
Yeah.
I mean, because that's obviously what you do with a katana. Just throw it at people.
So which of the 2 games is harder to do as a speedrun, since you offered to do both of them?
It's up for debate, honestly. Like, in a way, I want to say this one is, because you don't have, like, set patterns that the first game does. You pretty much have to react to everything in this game. That's not good. Okay, that's 1. That's not good.
Right, but meanwhile, Star Tropics 1 has the most unfair board in the entire game. So, I mean, or in the entire 2 games, really.
Are you talking about 7-1?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh, I gotta proceed very carefully through here. That was good. Please, diagonal thing. That did me no good.
There you go.
So every time you hit one of these, it just changes
Changes
going
direction,
north-south
yep.
to east-west.
Yes. There we go. Okay. So there's no boss. That is the boss of this dungeon. Doing that quickly is impossible.
And a hard enough boss it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it, so.
You've done it! What have you done now?
I refrained from turning off my power while saving.
That's really the true final boss.
And I got a chisel for it. So.
And the hammer.
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have to go back through that.
You just run, hurry, hurry.
That's true. All right. He can talk just fine while he's inside the plaster. So, you know, at least Zoda let him breathe.
Mm-hmm.
He's the famous artist.
Okay, there's a little band-aid on his forehead because you accidentally clipped him with the chisel.
Yeah. I gotta tell him what I think of the Mona Lisa, but I don't like the hairstyle, so we're gonna make the Mona Lisa rad.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
That's radical.
Totally.
And
Okay.
now I have the katana, so.
I like how you gave her anime hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew that being plastered is a petrifying experience? All right, so
That one was good.
Mika is, well, I mean, the game did that for me. But Mika is going to find me again, finally. She senses that I'm flying. Stuff has been happening back at home. back there. They captured Dr. J again. Or not captured, they hypnotized him, but... Anyway, so who's ready for the Pointless Island?
It's kind of like Pointless Whale in Star Tropics 1.
Not as good as the Pointless Whale, though,
Not as
because
good.
that's a full chapter worth and has the best music of that game.
Yes.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that assessment.
So am I, actually.
That is the best chapter in the entire game.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it is the one where I've died the least. That I have to give for it.
All right, so this is another place that pretty much relies on the player not knowing where to go and pitfalls being everywhere. There's only a couple that I actually have to go through, though.
Yeah, this has like what, like 2 or 3 you have to
think it's
navigate.
Hug the top, hug the bottom. Okay, so this first one up here actually gives me 4, or 1 of 4 that I chooses at random. I didn't see the third pattern until yesterday for the first time, so we'll see what it gives me. It gave me the fastest one. We'll take it. What's
Nice.
this one here?
So you just step on a switch and go.
Yep.
It's done.
So that's awesome. I got the best one. The second and third ones are debatable as to which one's faster. So I had to move forward twice there and then down to avoid more pitfalls.
Now we're gonna get another forced one.
I believe this one's always the same.
This one is always the same,
Yep.
yeah. Where are these skulls going? They usually avoid this side of the room. Okay, so how that dungeon there works, depending on which door you went through after you killed the first enemy, is what one it puts you at. 1, 2, down. Okay. I was careful with it just to be safe, but you know, if I fall into one of those, it's like a couple incredibly long. Not to mention, I don't know where to go in them. So.
Now we're going to sit here and wait through a long health refill.
What's convenient about Star Tropics 2, though, is like if you have multiple dungeons within a chapter, you'll still have full health when you get to the next dungeon. Versus Star Tropics 1 will always start you at 3 hearts.
It's between chapters where it always
Or between chapters, excuse me, yeah.
You get to maintain your full health going to future chapters, whereas
Star Tropics 1 doesn't.
Star Tropics, especially in 7.2, that's really annoying because there's a full long health refill
Yep.
at the end of 7.2, and then you start chapter 8 and 3 hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the last cube and it's like bloop, 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 and then you're just like 3 hearts, yay.
So chapter 6 didn't have a whole lot in it.
Chapter 7 also doesn't have much.
Yeah, we got 1 dungeon. Mysterious music. So
We're supposed to be in Transylvania right now.
Yeah. Zoda basically taunted me when I got that tetrad and was like, go to the place, basically references Dracula. So now I go to Transylvania. Since I have full health, I don't need to pick up any of the hearts that are along the way here. I don't need that one, I actually need this one. So now I'm going to fight some Angry Pants.
Some Frankenstein monsters with little kitties.
Yo, someone who knows that it's a monster, not Frankenstein.
Right.
I mean, he's not Dr. Frankenstein.
Exactly.
Dude, Pants, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm going to have some ghosts appear up here. There's only one of them that I need to hit. He'll pretty much appear in the same exact spot every single time. The
And
other ones will appear in another pattern, though. Like
It's the one that's kind of purplish is the one that you can actually damage. The other ones don't matter.
So now the zombies here take 4 hits instead of 6 with the Super Psyshock. So this enemy is annoying, and there's a lot of them that I have to deal with later on as well. I can only hit it from the back or the side. Yeah, we'll get to those later. Okay, so now I need to hold the diagonal, otherwise I'd fall through the floor again. I actually don't need to kill him. Okay, I'm going to be a little safe and kill these ahead of time. Because sometimes they can block your path there and then you're just all of a sudden taking damage. One more. So I got to keep a track of a lot of damage values, at least as far as hits go, depending on what weapon I've got equipped and for what enemy. It's a good thing those move slow. This enemy can be an annoyance. We'll see if he is.
That was pretty painless as far as that enemy can go.
Yeah. So as you saw, when I shoot the blue ball that's there, it zooms right towards you. So I just had to make sure I timed the jump for it. This room is awful, so... I need 8 hits. I'm going to try and hit him from afar. Try is the keyword. Okay, that's fine. It's a little slower to use the Psyshock on that enemy. So I try to hit him with the katana, but again, it's faster to do the other.
Right, now we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight Zoda Y. So he's just gonna stand back there, shoot some bats and the occasional projectile. Pretty easy, boss.
Yeah, the first hit messed me up. I could have, if I had enough hits in, I could have gotten him on 2 cycles there for the first phase.
All right, we beat him.
But now we have a second phase.
Not really.
You got like, what is call this, like, it was like a Cthulhu owl or something with the tentacle face.
I always thought it was an insect.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could be.
Maybe, I don't know what it is.
Wow, now I can't unsee the Cthulhu face.
Yeah, I was like, I never thought of it that way. I thought it was an insect.
I mean, he has wings and he shoots feathers at you. I mean, come on.
Okay, that was actually a pretty good fight. So as far as the second phase went, because he can jump.
Also,
back and forth pretty
notice the spikes on the bottom.
Yeah, that'll come in again later. But for now, I've done it.
And you get another Tetrad.
I could have used the potion that was in there, but it's close enough that it isn't going to make a huge difference. Alright, so now we're going to warp again. Because it's rad.
It's totally radical.
Totally
radical.
radical.
This is so 90s.
This is so 90s. Love it.
So now we go to Camelot, basically, right?
Yeah. Alright, so 2 chapters left. This one's going to have 2 dungeons in it.
The boss of the first one is another annoying boss.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a minute. So this overworld section is pretty convenient. I don't have to talk to really anybody here. Though, if there are donations, you can go ahead now.
Right now, we're still waiting on donations to come in. We do still have a lot of bidding wars coming up in our next couple runs. So once again, we do still have that Saga Frontier character choice bidding war between Astellas and Amelia. Right now, Astellas has $230 and Amelia has $130. If that's not quite your taste and you're looking more towards the Final Fantasy Legend side of things, we have the main characters race and naming the characters in Final Fantasy Legend 2. And we have the background color rolling incentive for Final Fantasy Legend 3, as well as naming all the characters in the game. One of which right now is sitting at a glorious $3, and I'm sure somebody out there has a name they were willing to pay more than that to go see. So, again, get those donations in. Once you get those in, I'll read them on the air. And, yeah, Terrex, keep it up with a good run.
All right.
So we talked to King Arthur there, and he asked us, will you fight for the kingdom? And if we say no, he basically King Arthur tells you to, well, buzz off. And I'm not sure if that makes us. You have to completely leave the castle and come back in before you can.
I honestly have no idea because I have never chosen that option.
Because I think it might put you in an unwinnable state.
Okay. I was gonna say
I don't remember for sure, but I know he basically tells you, buzz off, you're a coward. I don't want to talk to you.
He's gonna be a jerk.
Right?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that. I was like, wait, did you say that?
Man, wouldn't it suck to be those knights though? He's like, oh yeah, I don't have any knights. They're all busy, and then you're like one
Destroy
of the dudes
all
at the
of
castle.
them. So this is the same every single time as to where the knives are at. But this last one, I'm just going to take the hit because it's faster to just keep going forward.
There's free 4 hearts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully I can kill this boss fast. Okay, 2.
I think this is what, 8 hits?
I don't even know. Just go until he's dead.
Oh,
just
wow.
in front of it. That's a bad position. That's fine. Okay, I'll take that. That was not a terrible fight, because it can get to a point where you're just going around and around circles and you just won't hit him for like a minute or so.
And it's time to get the final weapon.
Yep. Well, we learned the truth about the donkey and the monkey.
Do those conveyor belts have different speeds as well, or is it?
They do, but it's not like based on anything. It's just the dungeon that they're in. It's whatever speed they had set it at for that dungeon.
A talking owl.
Yeah,
Oh wait, it's also the monkey.
and it's
And the
also
donkey.
the
The
donkey.
donkey.
And it's
And
also
Merlin. Yeah.
Hi, Merlin. Merlin traveled through time and space with us.
And thankfully, this is the first time that we've seen him. He also appears whenever you get a game over. So, goal is that we never see him until now.
So he gives me his most powerful magic, or psychic powers.
Oh, it's totally
It's
90s.
so 90s. The first game has a lot of that too. This one is
Something about only 90s kids will remember.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to other music. There was some other music earlier on, but I had a lot of beeping going on during that, so you didn't hear it.
And the ultra shockwave is powerful enough that it'll be our primary source of damage, except when enemies are particularly strong again.
Wasn't too bad. Those things can hop around a lot. And
Shoutouts to Zodasaurs.
okay, that's fine. That was a great room.
Yeah.
The knight gave me a really good pattern. All right, music change. So we're back to
Because
the,
reasons, I guess.
yeah. So we're back to the main dungeon theme, but that's fine because this music is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I actually don't need to get the hearts for once. It's nice. Please. Okay.
Now for some golden knights are in the next room.
I think it's the next one. It's the first one that appears. One more. Oops.
And golden knights have a giant shield that, like the
No, it's coming up.
like the ghost from chapter 7 that was holding its tombstone, you can only hit it from the side or the back. It's immune to all frontal damage.
This is kind of a dumb room, honestly.
Yeah.
I gotta go through the room, go back, and then back through it again, but, you know, whatever.
It's almost like they didn't have speedrunners in mind when they made this room.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
Okay. I'm gonna kill off this one first, because he becomes a nuisance if you're trying to kill this one.
Being a jerk.
Okay. That wasn't too bad. I've had worse, for sure. I'm just gonna stop those. It's a little faster to not do that and just jump over them, but like the timing for them is really weird. And I don't want to deal with that right now. Okay, I'm gonna grab this one just to be safe. I can buffer this jump that's down here. I guess one thing, I did mention that you can buffer stuff in both games. It's not as prominent in this game, based on the diagonal movement. The first game, you buffer like so there's only a few spots in this one that it actually becomes relevant.
Shout outs to
Please.
Knights be trolling.
Hey, I hit him once. Wow. Come on.
This is not good patterns.
No. Okay, there's one.
That's a little better.
Okay, second one cooperated better.
That guy lost his buddy and was like, I don't know what to do.
He's like,
Yeah.
I have lost the will to live.
Oops. That's fine though. Okay, now I got another knight. This is the last one though.
I like how the knights are attacking with ninja stars.
Yeah. Everything in this game makes complete sense.
Video game logic, we don't question
Yep.
it.
That was not good positioning. Okay. This is bad. Okay, I'm actually going to use this because I'll make this fight a lot faster given that I'll have the super size or the ultra.
It's time to fight the
Oh,
dark.
okay.
Whoa.
Started off that way. All right. Doesn't happen that often, but I have to be aware of it. So,
Time to fight the Dargan.
whew, okay.
And he's jumping up. If you attack him from your normal, head is vulnerable, but
Easy fight though.
by jumping you can hit the head.
Yeah. Even when he like goes to breathe fire at you, you still have to jump to hit him. Once you know how to do double and triple shots in the air, it's like one of the easiest fights in the game. All right, so I'm getting my final tetrad here.
Wonder if it's Tetra because they didn't have enough characters for Tetramino.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
I also don't think any kid would know what a Tetramino is.
Sure. But I mean, it's 90s. They had to make it radical, right?
Oh yeah,
Because
they want to put the word
Tetrad.
rat in.
Yeah,
It's just-
It's
yeah.
tetrad,
It's a
yeah.
trad. All right, so we're gonna get to talk to Mika again. She's gonna tell us to come back to Sea Island. And by Sea Island, this is in reference to the first game.
So if you are familiar with Star Tropics 1, the final dungeon of this
Also
game.
note, here we go again. It's no longer radical. Now I'm sad. But
It is no longer. It is going to go into a throwback dungeon. It's going to be the first dungeon of Star Tropics 1, except reskinned and modified slightly to fit the physics of this game.
And remix music, which is really good.
And like for me, this to me like is one of the best throwbacks I've ever played in a game. Like after playing the first game, I got here and I was like, holy cow! Like everything's the same. Like I don't know. I thought it was awesome. Just an awesome throwback to do. The first game came out in '90, and this came out in '94. Also, everything is normal here, absolutely normal, except for that pig that's in this corner over here.
It's a boar now.
He's a
yeah.
boar. He must be really confused right now.
I'm disappointed there was no blah 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 there.
Yeah, I didn't have to tell. Okay, so final dungeon.
I mean, though, Terex, to be fair, that that pig doesn't really do anything.
I get it now.
Okay, so the only thing that's really different is there was actually supposed to be another room in between the last one and this one. For some reason, they took that out. There will be another room in a little bit that does the same. There's just one room that they took out, but otherwise the dungeon, where everything is laid out, is the same. Switches are in slightly different positions, but otherwise it's the same.
Enemy placement's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
Reskin enemies.
they put the enemy, like, yeah, so you know there are rats and bats in this specific room in the other game. In Star Tropics 1, I'd have to jump on the right side instead of the left there.
And there was a room with some switches that you'd have to jump around, and there was some cuts.
Okay, so I'm going to be trying to do another Void Walk here, so I'm going to ask to be a little quiet until I get it. Got it.
Good
Okay.
job.
So we do have to ask, why is Sea Serpent a zombie? So if you're familiar with the speedrun of Star Tropics 1, we don't fight Sea Serpent. We just kind of damage boost through him and continue on our way. And now in this game, we can do exact same thing. So we never actually fight Sea Serpent at any point.
Mm-hmm. We knew that void walking was a possibility and that you could skip the Sea Serpent since like 2012, thanks to Scary Ice, who had found that, but like there wasn't really an RTA viable thing. And again, thanks to Falco, he found consistent setups, and it's great.
Fun. So he's
Yeah.
actually going to attack us.
So what I'm way back in Chapter 2, if you kill the boar, Yum goes on a rage, and you're basically fighting this version of him.
Not quite. That's actually the regular fight. If you kill the boar, he moves twice as fast and shoots out like 3 times as many bubbles. And it's like a lot harder to do.
So welcome to Boss Rush.
Yeah. So the first game didn't have a boss rush. So I always wondered why they put one in this one, and they don't have all the bosses either, which is also weird, but you know, whatever, boss rush. Let's do it.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, like the stupid knight on the horse isn't here, so
yeah,
that's always
like
a good thing.
That's the one that I did not want to fight, and I'm okay with that.
Also, no minecart.
Well, that is a mini boss technically.
So now we got Zoda X to fight again.
Good.
See if we get a good pattern out of him.
I did,
Good.
but I'm gonna, yeah, the up arrow messed it up. Let's go on a ride.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk in the corner here. Oh, really?
One hit.
So I'm not going to use a potion yet, not until I actually lose the super Psy Shock, or Ultra. Later on, which will give me all my life back, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so now I'll actually use one. I picked up 2 just in case. How did that hit me? Okay. Zoda Y. So remember, I have a different sprite for some reason.
Yeah, they use the Chapter 8 type of spikes. They just screwed up.
Yeah, these don't look as menacing as the ones they'd used in the original fight.
No.
Not at all.
Let's get position. Nice, okay. Alright, and so for some reason as well, after you kill the boss in the refight, the spikes have no walk on top of them, and then get myself set up for the dragon. A little slow because I took the hit, and because, or just from the fire breath. Sometimes you won't do that at all, and you can. So, Zoda Z.
I know there's some after.
All right, so I got the pill. Reminder to do drugs, apparently. Yeah, antibiotics. There we go.
I think they're vitamins.
Vitamins.
yes.
Yeah. The actual name is called Vitamin X.
Vitamin X to fight Zoda Z.
So basically, I have to hit his feet. That's where the hitbox is at.
And if you get hit, those giant beams will turn you temporarily into a boar.
Okay. This is not a good position for him to be at. Go stay in the corner. That's not staying in the corner. That's not staying in the corner.
Getting a little too close, up close and personal, Zoda Z.
That's a little better. Nope.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. I love the design of that boss. That is one of my all-time favorite final bosses. Just the, I don't know. I think it's a really fun fight, and I just love how the boss is coming up soon. Yes.
About 45 seconds.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do something here. I can, if I just hold the direction, I can skip the cutscene that's here with Mika. But if I hold down and like try to go back the way I came instead of just holding left, this is slightly slower, but you know I can take them with me, so why not?
That's like how you push some of them into the wall.
Yeah. And what's funny is like it's just their sprite. Like their hitbox is still in the spot that they would have been in. All right, so time's when I talk to the chief here, and time.
So
Also in the Virtual Console version, the Chief's middle name was changed from Tetris to Puzzle.
Yeah. So this is what we get to do, or rather that the chief does with the tetrads. So we don't put them in a straight line like at all.
yeah.
Quite the opposite. Also, seizure warning that's coming up, just to be aware.
He's the worst Tetris player I've ever seen.
Yes. And it's apparently his middle name. So.
Yeah, it's his middle name, but he's great. So he's gonna make a trident with this, basically.
And if flashing lights bother you, please look away
Yeah,
now. We'll let
like
you
I
know
said,
when it's safe.
Seizure warning. It's not yet. All right, we're safe. All right, so this is Mika's father. And he's just telling a story like I sent them away and I basically like put my soul into these Tetris pieces and broke them up so that Zoda couldn't get to me. They're the last survivors of their race because Zoda destroyed them all. And now they just left us. So after all that, Mike doesn't get the girl.
Nope.
He just runs after and that's it. Happy ending. So anyway, that's Star Tropics 2.
I'm sure he'll find her in Star Tropics 3.
I wish.
Right?
If Nintendo wanted me to put any amount of money towards anything, it would be Star Tropics 3. I would throw down
Absolutely.
anything to that.
Alrighty. Thank you, Terex, for the absolutely fantastic run. Up next, we have Saga Frontier. And